Hello and welcome to another session of Mountain Home. Mountain Home is a forged in the dark game of dwarven settlement building. Last time we had our first sort of full session of playing things out, going on expeditions, trying out things, getting to play with them. We're taking up in the wake of that. A year has ended and another year is beginning. So we're going to be playing that out today. You may notice me doing this is because there is a sneeze that is waiting. It's waiting for me to do it. And I'm going to see if I can mute myself when it does start to come. But if you're watching or listening to this, I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I may not make it. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. And one of the things I've done is I've gone through and I've rolled for each of the faction clocks and advance them a little bit. So to remind you what has gone on, you can check that out. When we go to the year thing, I'll talk about how that information comes to you, what that looks like, all of those kinds of things. I've also rolled an outsider entanglement, and I've rolled a mountain entanglement, which I will also present in that year start thing. One of the interesting things that I've printed it out like a chunk of the book, and I got getting a 3-hole punch. I finally broke it down. I'm just going to put it all in a binder. Here is so you have two tracks on your settlement thing. One is the outsider entanglements track, and the other is the mountain entanglements track. And those can go up, and they can also get pushed back down. And the mechanic for how they get pushed back down is pretty clear. How they go up is less clear. A couple of the rolled entanglements, but only a couple of them out of the couple dozen, mention increasing the entanglement track. So
I know in downtime, you can always take an extra downtime action by either spending a treasure or ticking the mountain entanglement track.
but then how does the outsider entanglement track get moved up?
There may be something similar hidden like that.
Okay.
I remember that one in
Mountain
particular.
entanglement track. Okay. Uh, and what that is when you roll the entanglements, if the track is at a certain level, it adds to the second die. Like the first die determines what kind it is, and the second die determines the severity. Where the track is, like adds to that, but then it also like a roll there, a higher roll on that will actually then also tick it down a couple. So if it rolls high, it will tick it down. Uh, uh, so it's interesting to see how that works. We don't have faction clock or rather like tracks like we do in standard forge for the different levels and things. But we'll play with that mechanic and see how it goes. Last time we did an expedition where you visited the Knolls in an effort to establish stronger diplomatic ties. And that went well. And at the end of the year, there was strong trade, and you ended up with quite a few treasure on the table. You have a surfeit of treasure, as it were. And two major things were built. One is the farm, that should we roll a failed crops entanglement at the year end, you can use this to reduce that effect. And you can also dedicate it to allow the settlement to upgrade to the next tier. And then the settlement quarter, dedicate to reduce the amount of reputation required to increase the settlement hold by 2. So you've got a couple of things that are there. So let's go around. Let me ask. So this is session 3. So we start with Tyler this time. Tyler, you're in a hot seat for starting this time. Tyler, tell me this settlement quarter that has been built in the sort of original caves and things that you came into with some of those gems and the star signs on the ceiling and the runes. And last time we saw some unusual marks on those. I think Ethan added that in as a detail in that. Tell me something about the building of this settlement quarter, what it looks like, how things have been divided up. Tell me something about that.
Okay. I believe in this, certainly in the early onset, and maybe I don't know if this might be something that is dwarvish, especially since I was drawing from tradition. There is a communal sort of feel to it. So these are, I think I described it almost like apartment sort of things built into the rock. And I think that for our settlement, it kind of encircles, and then we have a like communal building for like where we can eat and all of that sort of thing. It's this early setup.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything we should know about the design that you've brought there in terms of like color or angles or anything like that?
I think that it is of the same color of the rock itself, but I like the idea where we've talked about these crystals that are giving light. We have the crystal that kind of brings that Patrick brought in that gives off the noise. I think that then that there are decorations that we do that are like crystal carves, and probably more like symbolic things. Runes are faces of ancestor type thing, but they are decorated with these crystal carvings.
Patrick Dawson, in the adaptation in the building of the settlement quarter in this original cavern here, what part of the existing architecture or materials or things that were present here have you not integrated? Have you either it's just happened to be, or you deliberately avoided it, or there's something wrong with it? What is it that you've not brought in when you've built this new settlement?
Not sure.
Have you made use of everything?
I having a hard time thinking of underground stuff.
Yeah, do you want me to go on and come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's a tricky question. That's why I wanted to throw that to you. Sherry, the hills up top, you've built a farm. What are you farming?
On the hills? Oh, I thought we talked about that last
I
time.
don't think we established it. You built farms, but I don't think we established like what you're actually growing.
I like the idea that we're doing a three sisters kind of thing, in the way of that it's three crops that you put together, like a underground crop like yams, a vine crop, and something tall like corn. So essentially we're growing grains, we're growing starches. So I would say, let's say some sort of yam type thing.
Okay.
And we've probably got the vine is gosh, let's see. Maybe something like that'll make great pickles. So
Okay.
not that it's cucumbers, but it's something that's kind of got that thing that you don't want to eat it plain because it's kind of bland, but you pickle it up with some things and it really holds the brine great. And it's got good fiber or something. I don't know. And then there's that grain, the tall grain of some sort that we will use to make some fine drinking.
I like the idea that the dwarves have these little cannonball cucumbers.
Yeah,
that,
that's a great idea.
Are there maybe the size of eggs at the smallest ones, but they can get a little bit bigger, and they can pickle those. What is different or unique or unusual about like dwarven farming methods or the way they set up their farms or the agricultural approach, Ethan?
Hmm. The fields tend to be small and like divided up. Dwarves aren't big fans of open space.
Mm-hmm.
So the fields are kind of scattered around. They're not like it's not a big square of ground. It's like this little patch of ground that kind of winds around the foot of the mountain, in between this stream and this forest,
Okay.
It's very irregularly shaped.
Using the natural stone and things to mark boundaries and to build on. Okay, yeah, I like that. So we've got these yams. What's different about a dwarven yam, Ethan? It's a tuber.
Um, uh, the vine, the yams themselves are not very different, but the vines are these like really tough, thorny vines instead of the long trailing ones with the big flowers like they would normally would be.
Okay, so a little more dangerous, thorny vines there.
Yeah.
So iron vine yams. Okay, I like that. Patrick, what else should we know about this settlement cavern?
So I was trying to think of something sort of natural but wild. I hit on the idea of like what would mountain squirrels be. So I guess like some sort of like probably cave mouse thing that very adapted to be able to like dig tunnels and hide burrows like deep down in cracks that dwarves can't get to, but they're really like almost monkey like. They're very thieving. They go in, they once we start getting the crops set up, they definitely make raids on the crops, but they also like steal little shiny things, fun little metal things.
In a like an established dwarven hold, what would be the thing that the dwarves would have to deal with that? Is it a mechanical thing? Is it a particular kind of animal? Is it some rune thing? Like what would they have that you haven't quite had the resources or time to put together to deal with these monkey squirrels?
I think back in our the settlement that we came from, it was like vibrating crystals, like sound, like ultrasonic sort of frequencies that none of us could hear, but they would keep the cave mice monkeys out at the very outskirts of the settlement.
Yeah, and that's something you kind of took for granted. It takes some work to build, takes some resources. So they're kind of an issue right now. I want to go around and have everybody call a scene, either with another PC or with an NPC from their guild or another person's guild, or if you want to introduce another NPC. What do you think is going on now, Grunheld? What's the scene that you want to call? Who do you want to interact with?
Let me see. I think Dozen. Probably,
Okay.
yeah, for two reasons. There's two good reasons for that.
Right.
I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be. Sherry doesn't have her character sheet up or name up yet, but I was wondering if it was going to be the scholar, but I think it's going to be the stone speaking people.
Okay. So where do you think you find Dozen? Do you call him to where
I
you
will
are?
request Dozen come and visit me at my place. Yes.
Dozen, what's your
Dawson.
reaction when Dozen when you
Dawson, sorry.
Dozen, what's your reaction when you're summoned like that?
I mean, I'm probably pretty busy. Like, we've got a whole schedule going. There's an entire civilization that we're setting up, and does the is it a written invitation or a messenger? Or like, how do you do?
It would be written invitation, an invitation to tea and light meal and a conversation.
I don't have time for light meal or conversation. I have tea right here. What she just wants me to drop everything and come follow you back for fancy doily pastries?
Shall I take a message back that you do not wish to attend upon, Lady Grunheld? I will set
No,
forth,
I
Master
don't
Dot.
want you to take that message back.
Oh, was there another message you wished me to take back to Lady Grunheld?
Would you ask her if perhaps tomorrow would be more agreeable with her schedule?
I will tell her that you'll be available tomorrow.
I look forward to it.
And I imagine we cut to the next day. You arriving, Dawson, with Grunheld. I assume you've set this up fairly formally.
It is the hearth is going. I have my my tea set out, and there are some appropriately like tasty little things. I may be trying to play a little on the grandmotherliness, so it's like familiar things from home.
Mm-hmm.
Something that would make you feel like, oh, look, little nostalgia feel. Dawson, it is so good to see you. Please come in.
And what would I call you? Would it be Grunheld or would it be
Mr.
Mr. Something or whatever?
We're on equal terms. And Grunheld's not particularly formal on titles type of thing.
Grunheld, supposed to thank you for having me at your lovely establishment with doilies.
Supposed to, but I'm sorry that I interrupted your work yesterday. I've been wanting to talk with you about something. I appreciate that you took the time out of all you have to do.
Yes, well, there are many things to do, but my apprentice kept repeatedly assuring me that I couldn't argue that we had any more spaces to fill up today.
Well, I'm hoping that the two of us can discuss some plans I was thinking of, and which I think you are uniquely capable of, well, helping with.
What sort of plans?
Well, there are a lot of things. Sit. And I will pour tea, and okay, you must try the yam biscuit. Very sweet.
Is this the project?
No, this is the buttering up while you listen to me talk when you can't speak back. So eat.
Nibble at a yam thing.
I've been hearing several things. One, there was an area that we passed on the way here with some dwarven influence, an outpost. It might be that we could find something helpful for the settlement here. There's no one who has better capabilities to scout out than your associates. There's also something I've been thinking of, that we need to begin looking further into these tunnels. Another specialty of yours.
See that makes more sense. I mean, some open or dwarf hut that's been open to anybody that's just come by to have a peek in. There's nothing useful left back there. Hidden in tunnels and caves where only canny underground people could find it.
Now, the outpost, why I thought of you was they had seen dwarven runes. But perhaps Dacriel would be more specialized in it.
I mean, Dagriel could point you to a book that talked about runes from someone that had heard about runes from someone that they'd met a few generations ago.
Well, knowledge of the past is good, and help, well, if you're not willing to do things, then I will find someone who perhaps is. But as you say, underground adventuring, we have to expand. There's so much more of this place. And, well, if we get complacent, then we will wither here.
It's not even expansion. It's just refilling the spaces where we're meant to be. It's all just out there waiting for us. We just have to find it here. Clear off some of the dust, open up a new tunnel or two.
Agreed. Can I expect your support then, and perhaps an exploration a little further into the caverns?
Well, depends. What sort of funding are you talking about?
Funding? We are all collectively here. I suppose we will fund it with the council meets as it needs.
Well, if it's something that we need, then it needs.
Agreed.
Your biscuits
So
could
nice.
use more butter.
I'm sure you're very busy, and I hate to keep you.
I think we'll cut from that scene. Dagriel, let's come to you. What scene would you like to call? Who would you like to talk to? What would you like to do?
let's see here. I think I'll probably go and get Talon
Okay.
and kind of go, okay, I want to show you something that we can see from one of the parts of the farm. And we'll go out there and I'll point down towards sort of the path that we took on our way to the knolls. And it isn't very far away from us at all until the brambles pick up, in that kind of crazy way. But it's sort of midsummer. And the thing that's astounding is how many flowers are on all of it. And I said, now, I'm not advocating that we spend a lot of time traipsing through those brambles or something, but I don't know. I kind of think if we had some bees, we could make this like
Honey?
work out.
What you looking for?
Yeah. It's a good trade good. B, it's a great preservative. C, makes everything taste better, especially those yams that get so dang yammy in the middle of winter. And they like to be inside someplace safe too. I think of them as sort of a kindred spirit out in the sun.
Yeah,
make those nice little tunnels and
well, I mean, there's all these flowers. There's got to be something pollinating them, right? And do you have any books on beekeeping? Because I mean, I'm sure I can rig up some hives, but I never actually done that.
Oh, that's a good point. I will go check. I bet we do, but I don't know if they have enough, illustrations and stuff.
As long as it describes basically what you need. Have you seen, like, there is just stuff that, like, I mean, there's a lot of broken stuff around, right? But it's all usable. I mean,
no, I haven't really. And you're like, what do you mean?
Oh, I mean, like, I can totally rig up something for hives as long as I know what they're supposed to be shaped like. And what, I don't know what, I mean, bees live in trees, don't they? But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure I can find stuff to make it. There's just piles of broken, I don't know, furniture and equipment, and I'm not sure what all, but I guess if we could just make something that looks like a hollow tree.
Okay. Excellent. I will go find the books, and that's what I will do. Okay. So I'll drag you along with me for my initial search, though. So, because she assumes that you would be just as excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this seems like a cool idea, and I think it is not hard to get Talon started on a cool new idea. It's hard to get him to finish it, but it's not hard to get him to start it.
Awesome. Dawson, let's have you call a scene.
I think I'd like a scene with my guild people.
Okay.
Rylela, my ally.
Absolutely. And they Rylela is like picking around in the various edge of debris. They're probably in that new area that got opened up last time, the stony caverns, and they are looking for things, looking for junk to recover and repurpose. Uh, and like your guild does, they kind of haven't asked permission to go into this area. They haven't really like cleared it with anybody yet. They're kind of, poking around in here just to see what they can find before like all of the braces have been set up and all of the safety measures have been taken. And Riley's up on this precarious pile when you come there. Dawson!
What? Lip? What? Oh, wow.
Up here, come up here.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is very shaky. Is it supposed to shake like this?
That's fine. It's fine. I got up here.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just
Yeah.
like a
No.
ladder, climb up, stand on the top step.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to not actually stand on the top step? Isn't it not
Then
a,
why make a
a
top step?
I've often argued with ladders in that respect, but mostly they just have warning signs on them and aren't very good debaters.
If you don't read it, you don't have to listen to it.
Okay, I'm
That's always
here.
been my policy.
I'm
What's
not
up?
dead. What do you mean? What's up?
You came here. I was here already.
You told me to come all the way up. Is there a reason we're up here?
Oh, because I didn't want to have to shout down to you. You clearly came here to see
Oh.
me or to talk over something, and I didn't want to climb down, and I didn't want to shout at you.
Well, I
See,
suppose,
wasn't that polite?
yes, that's convenient. Although, ironically, I did come to talk about how frustrated I've been with how on top of each other everyone is, and how I just keep seeing the same several dozen dwarven faces over and over again. And I just can't get away from. It's like everything's closing in on us, and here we are having very like it's. I'm sorry. Is this rock going to hold both of us?
Just don't move too much.
You're moving a lot, though.
Yeah, but that's just me.
Okay. Um.
So what are you saying? Like, are you thinking that we ought to like go out somewhere? Are you thinking that like we ought to do something? Like, I mean, there are only 100 of us. We opened up this new area. We ought to be more exploring around in here. Maybe building something in here. Building something here would be cool.
I have it on solid authority that several of the elders are thinking about how we should be exploring more of what's underneath here, and I think I've got a solid line on some new funding for an expedition. So we just have to put together an expedition and expede.
Explore.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't it? Hey, you say several of the elders, but like you're an elder, you're the founder, you're a founder.
Well, yes.
Yeah, never talk about yourself like the others are above you. You're representing the guild. You're representing us. So you need to be saying my peers, my fellow founders, who are vaguely on my same level, even though I'm better than them.
Well, that is true, but I don't know. I keep having to. There's
Look, here's the deal.
Involved.
Look. Sit, like you're making me work. Do sit down here because you are gonna fall off if you're not careful because you're not good at this stuff.
But this is, I mean, I think the best I can manage is sort of a 40-degree lean.
Just grab onto that pipe thing there.
Okay.
So, like, we're all counting on you because, you know how to talk to people and you know things. Like, and you give us room that we can run around and do stuff. We all appreciate that. But, and that, you don't have to go out with us. You're the guild person, so you gotta be the dwarf in charge.
Well, I mean, I'm just. There are a lot of other guilds with a lot more money, and I'm really used to having to fill out a lot more paperwork for these sort of things. It's
And
well, it's just strange. That's all I'm saying.
here's the thing. You gotta stiffen your backbone. Or Snapnat, like he's clicking at your heels. You don't want that. I don't want that. He's
Well,
kind of an asshole.
nobody wants that. They're terrible. But
Yeah.
we just need to find something undeniable that I can shove in the rest of the founders' faces and say,
Oh
this,
yeah.
this,
Oh yeah.
not your silly projects, but these useful things. See, I have brought you concrete, useful advancements for our civilization, for the future of our settlement.
Okay.
So, where do we find them?
Oh, I don't know. That's not like we get set places.
Well, you get sent in general directions after.
Yeah, and then we look
have to
around them.
find
So
something
what's
good.
the general direction he wants to go in?
Well, in the direction of something useful and good and valuable. Ideas.
And that is where? Look, if you don't know, you should talk to the scholars. They've got books and things, and they can probably help you figure that out. Like, I mean, we can go outside and scout. We can find some of the areas that we haven't like looked at upstairs. We can dig deeper into the caverns. It's up to you. You got to choose.
They have that way of looking at you, like they, like they know things.
I get you. I understand that. But here's what you do. If you want to, like, make sure that you're on high ground, you get to someplace precarious and you wait there. And then when they come, you make them come to where you're at.
It's insane. You mean just stand around on some high precarious ledge hoping that someone that you need to manipulate will just come by and want to talk to you?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't know. That seems dubious. I can't see how that would work.
Look, I'm trying to teach by example here.
Don't shake it like that.
Sorry,
It's very
sorry.
precarious up here.
Look. You get that. Just make sure that you have the higher ground, metaphorically or literally.
All right. Did the higher ground think to bring some rope? Because it's either rope or I think I'm paying a leg to get down.
It's you. I always have rope.
Oh, good. With the little knots in.
With the little knots in it and the little wooden peggy things to hang on to.
Well, my hands, I can't, have them roughed up. I have delicate work to do.
I know you have soft baby hands.
That is not what I said.
Don't worry. Some dwarves like that.
Right. What? Just get the rope out.
Tolan, what scene would you like to call?
Let's see. I think I am going to follow through on this honey thing, but like first I think we have to find out if there are bees.
Okay.
So I'm going to, let's see, who am I going to, I mean, who am I going to grab and like
Is it one of the existing guilds or is it another guild that would be appropriate to this? Is there an animal husbandry guild?
That's a good question.
Or is that just the farmers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably among the laborers. There are some animal people.
Okay.
So I think that's who I'm gonna go to. Like, let's rather than create a new person since I haven't seen these people at all. Let's see. There's Glodin, Iron
Is
Skull, and
that
Aslo
Gloden
Red Hill.
your friend, or is that Oslo?
That actually seem. I think that's probably Oslo.
Ah, so Tolan comes down from the mountain. What is what is what is it that our Grand Master of Labors comes to tell us today?
Well, I mean, I could go to somebody else about this, but you're the animal expert. So
I am. We are.
so here's a question. Have you seen any bees around?
I'm looking for bees. Like she actually comes up short. Mostly concentrated on dealing with the the squirrel monkeys and some of the pests outside. But bees, you say?
Bees. Yeah.
Like
Well,
like cave wasps or like bees
no,
or what?
like bees the bees that would produce honey. Bees that would pollinate all those. Have you seen all the like flowers everywhere?
I unlike some people, I don't have time to sniff all the flowers.
You don't have to sniff them. You just have to notice the fact that, the land is purple and blue and orange.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyway, um,
Oh,
I'm looking
so you're
for.
thinking about we should get more honey?
Yep, yep.
Because
Uh,
then we could have honey and we could make mead and
yep.
we could drink mead like all the time.
I mean, that would be a lot of mead, so we'd need a lot of bees. But I haven't seen a lot of bees, so but I haven't been paying attention like you. So, um, you haven't. Okay.
Uh, well, what we can do is like I can go around, take some people off duty, and we can go and kind of try to map out where the flowering fields are around in the areas around here.
I mean, only if you see bees there, and um, I mean, you don't need
Well,
to
but
make it a
wouldn't it
special
also
thing.
make sense to know if like a flowering field didn't have bees?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that would probably be a good idea too.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, because I'm a
that would be
smart
things that
person.
the
I'm a
bees
smart
don't
thinker.
like.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Uh, yeah, that would be a good idea. I'll go wander around like, off of the farm, but you spend so much time on the farm,
No, we got this. We got people, you know, uh like here's the thing is they all think they know what they're doing, but we can shufty off and we can get some things done. Yeah, we'll find out about the bees.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have some meat soon. Or I
We'll see.
don't know,
We'll
maybe
see.
not
We'll
soon.
see.
I don't know.
Do you know how to work with bees? Because
I'm hoping there's some books. Because we
that
didn't
makes
really bring
sense.
a beekeeper along. That wasn't a thing that we thought to do. So somebody's going to have to become one, and I think that is probably going to be me.
Which is nice to find bees, go grab them up, yank them, drag them back. Right? That's how it works.
Yeah. Um, that's a very good question. I
We'll
think it
find out,
involves
won't we?
smoke.
Smoke. Well, that I can do as well.
All right.
Then I think we have all the ingredients. This should be absolutely no problem.
Smoke, potential bees.
Absolutely.
Excellent. I'll get started on some hives then. This is going to go great.
Can it go magnificently? Let's take our first break here. When we come back, we'll talk about the start of year stuff, what has occurred clocks wise and what's come up, and we'll talk about what is sort of the beginning of the year things. So take 10 for this first break. So what did I mention? I was thinking about this on the break. Like the book has a set of buildings. I said buildings, but one of the things I imagine that we can do is if you want to come up with a building that does a new thing, we can do that as a long-term project to research that, with the idea that if you succeed at that, you would get some ticks towards the clock for building it. So it wouldn't be that you have to do a separate research thing and then a separate build, but we can kind of figure that out. And if people have ideas for other things, we can come up with those to expand the repertoire of things there. So we return again to the chamber of the 8 founders. We're another year on from the last big scene of the groups gathered there. Again, we have B tier actors in the positions for the other 4. That we kind of see them as the camera swooshes past, but we haven't like got a named person playing them yet. And there are various people speaking and presenting news and information. There are some reports on the various factions first that happen here. They will say that the Centaurs continue their recruitment. We're still trying to ascertain exactly what their purpose is beyond Empire, and there's some question of from what we've been able to understand, they came here from a neighboring region, that some other portion of their empire, something happened there, and which is why their focus has shifted here. Whether that has anything to do with the changes in magic is uncertain, but we're still trying to ascertain. But they are definitely recruiting forces. We have spoken with the Ashclaw sisters, our Nolish allies, about things in the various exchanges. They have asked for some advice on how to fortify their defenses. We've given them some assistance in that matter, though given what we have at hand, we can't supply too much, but at least we've given them some suggestions on how they can utilize the caves and so on. And they are working on that and have made good progress on it. We think, perhaps in another year, they will have stronger defenses, perhaps even further down the road, but that's a thing. We've heard very little of the elves, save that they have no love lost for the gnomes, though they have no love lost for particularly anyone. But they have apparently been attempting to gather information. They are, what we've been able to tell, fairly mobile. So they are moving around their settlements. It may be that they are the scouting force for a larger contingent of elves. It's unclear. We don't know enough about what this autumn dawn means. The Tengu, it's hard to tell what they're up to. They are up higher on the mountains in the reaches that we do not attend to. We have seen them going from place to place there. We crossed paths with at least one of these fonts and saw their marks upon it, and still steered well clear of it. We don't want to cause a problem, though it may be that they may be the ones that we may come into contact with sooner rather than later in terms of bumping up against borders. Gnomes continue to harry and harass the gnolls when the gnolls go out further. But that's more, it seems, incidental. What their larger purpose is remains unclear. And we still don't have any information on this other faction and what they intend. But there is a concerning matter regarding the centaurs. And we bear with the founders' patience as we explain what has happened and perhaps what our options are as discussions has gone on. The centaurs have been moving through paths and ways and lanes in our hillside area, those abutting against where the farmlands are and those places there. It feels like a demonstration of their control in the area, but they are essentially costing us some resources there. We can ignore this if we wish and take the small cost that it will give us, mechanically, a treasure, or we can put up fences, put blocks, put barriers and things like that to attempt to exert our control and make a point, and perhaps harm our potential relations with them. But that is for the founders to decide. On a more positive note, and they'll gesture over, and you will see one of Dazin's scouts, Emberstone, come forward. Dazin, you're a little surprised. You didn't know that he was here to, that they were here to speak. And they will say, Emberstone will say, greetings, merciful founders, and I have come to bring you exciting news of a discovery that the scouts have made that may be of some import to us. In our pressing through in the new stony caves, we saw some unusual lights. And when we moved forward to investigate, we found in several places scattered around the fringes of the caverns, boughs of glimmer petals. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with glimmer petals, he says in the most obsequious way, they pull magic from the surrounding area to grow, which means they need no light and no soil. So they are interesting and luminescent. The only problem, which can be a problem for us, but maybe a problem for others, is that they disable artifacts, they disable runes, magical workings, they spoil brews and confound wizards. Even our own who practice arts of talking with the spirits and things like that are disrupted by them. But they do perhaps represent a possible potent a resource for us, perhaps a trade resource even. So I've carefully marked out on the maps in my my assistants will be handing around some handouts that I've had scribed for this. I apologize, Master Dawson, I didn't have time to inform you of this before the meeting.
I'm sure there just wasn't any time at all in the press of things. And aren't we all better for knowing this valuable information?
Let me ask you this, Dawson. Do you want to let this go, or do you want to try and like exert your personality, exert your pressure on him here, and kind of make a show of this in front of the other founders, or do you want to let this slight go?
I think this first time we would see Dawson just like grinding his teeth and like his jaw muscle just sort of clinching in between stuff, but this is the exact sort of thing that he wanted to bring to the council, so I'm sure this was just an accidental stepping on his toes, and it probably won't happen again, so I won't have to respond to it a second time.
Absolutely. I will start a clock there on your rival.
Wait, what
Would you
now?
roll me a d6?
It's a 6.
It's a 6. Well, that's 3 ticks towards his mutiny clock.
Wait,
He
what now?
looks and he notes that you say nothing and you do not call him on this, and he bows deeply as he retreats back.
It is a true credit to you and your associates, Dawson, that they work so well even without your immediate administration.
Yes, yes, they've always been creative at finding what will benefit the settlement in general. And just think about what they could do with some better gear and equipment, a little bit more of our support as they go to find these marvels to support our growing city.
Indeed.
So this is the time when the group can talk about what is on the table. Of course, we have from last time those ruins that Tyler mentioned, but then you have these other affairs that have come up, and the perhaps looking into the more of the sources of this glimmer petal is another possibility. Again, to remind you, just so you're thinking about this, and we'll come back to talk about this in a second. They break expeditions down into several categories. Raiding, which I don't think necessarily you particularly have on the table, is something you'd want to do. Surveying, looking into a place. Artifact, forge, discover, recover a powerful artifact, tool, or magical ingredients. We've got a couple of things already on the table. Some of the things that with the sky things and the crystal, and with this weird symbol or sign. Those are all interesting things. Going back to the homeland to get aid is another one. And of course the diplomacy one, which I don't know why.
Lowell, can I ask? Yeah. Okay, survey as compared to discovering a claim.
So what they have is explore the earth, travel down underground roads, explore the long forgotten, scavenge dwarven ruins, map out new regions, explore buried marvels. What that would be is to more find an interesting thing. It wouldn't add to the settlement map, but it might be to go if you've had hints of something, during an RP phase or from an entanglement, like following up on that, and maybe coming back with something unusual.
Gotcha. Theoretically, it also could be like going off and look into the unknown factions area, right? That would be that same one. I'm not suggesting. I'm just saying
no. That
sort
absolutely
of thing
that would be another thing. Information gathering, that kind of thing.
Okay. And we've heard mention of like the Skyfall and the magic stuff. Can you remind us a little of what that's all about?
I don't think you know yet.
We don't, do we?
No. Well, here's what you know is that something happened that changed the magics out here, that you all weren't privy to, that has sent a ripple across the peoples, and also gave signs to the oracles in your homeland that this place could be reopened, that there was a reason for that. And when you've gone out, you've seen that peoples have been disturbed. You've heard them say things, but you don't know exactly what has gone on.
Okay. Discovering that would be like a project clock, right?
It could be a project clock, or you could do it as an expedition. We could kind of frame up like a person of knowledge that you could go to seek out.
Oh, that's cool too. Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. We can kind of, at least at the start, when we got kind of think, if you want to frame it, we can come up with some things to frame out these kinds of stories.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I've talked a bit, so folks got ideas for what we need to do this year?
We pay the centaurs, we have to keep paying the centaurs.
We could diplominate at them. See if we can make them more friendly.
Does sound cheaper than paying them.
If we succeed.
Yeah.
True.
There is the chance to go exploring, like deeper into our area, do like a survey to see if we can find something cool and interesting around here.
Yes. Daggrail, do you think your keepers have any sort of, I don't know, old bits of maps of this area or stories of the layout and how we might track down interesting areas?
We have texts. She sort of stops and she goes, but don't match what we see so far.
Well, apparently me pointing down a random cave and saying, why not that way, is an unreliable source for an expedition. So maybe we could dig up something better out of your books.
I could definitely take a look.
We're going to have to explore all of it eventually, so why not?
That's what I said. We got yelled at for half an hour. Explanations of.
I mean, I can see prioritizing the important areas, but if we don't have any information, or I guess accurate information on what those areas are, saying why not that way seems just as good as any other.
If you could find a place with some marks, with something that we can go through and see if we can find something that matches this. I think that a lot of the books that we have are older and changes were made after. And so it's very difficult to match to what we have now.
All right.
They've had plenty of time to explore the areas around here. I'll send some of them by. They should be able to point out something that'll match up with what you have. Tolan, you need to come with me on the next expedition. I need that sort of positive energy when I'm making these arguments. These people never listen to me.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I'm not sure how convincing that argument would be, but
going to
I
have
mean,
to.
wherever we go, we find some really cool trash that I can turn into other things. So I'm fine with going pretty much anywhere.
And I want to propose something here. We could move for a moment to free play and do a once around if people wanted to look into things to get a little more information or a little more detail, maybe to explore an idea to get some more things on the table, and then come back and decide expedition. There's no pressure. We could shift over to that.
And I'll be honest, I might be thinking that if we could find something interesting to go after, that seems a good expedition. And we should still go and diplominate with these centaurs. I suggest we do too. We saw where our resources ended up last time.
You can. The question is supply and stress.
Yeah.
Oh, and we
don't have to make
reset all our supply choices now.
You can reset your supply choices.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No problem then.
And we don't have to make the second one if we're feeling really awful.
Right. Well, let's do a once around.
Okay.
To let people look into things, investigate, talk to people, do that. There will need to be a choice. Even if you decide to diplominate with the centaurs, you've got to make a choice about whether in the meantime you're going to spend that treasure and let them stomp around, or you're going to put up some barriers. So that is a cost of that particular entanglement. So I need a decision on that one.
We could diplominate first, and then if we're
pay the treasure.
No, what I was saying is we could do the diplomacy first.
So
we have to
that's
do
an
it
eventual
before.
thing, but right now you've got to that's part of the entanglement, forces a choice on that.
Right. We have to do that before we do anything else.
Right.
And can we clear how do we clear our supply things?
You just reset it back to 3, right? And
yeah, but you can't take off
you
the
just
thing.
Delete the field. Yeah, there's no drop down option for null.
Nothing. It's actually, if I could find the data sheet, I could make one.
Oh, I tried to touch the data sheet last week and things caught on fire, and I had to go find an old version real quick.
Okay. All right. This is it's really close, but it's got some real finickiness to it. So
yeah, I tried to add one word to the descriptor of one of my powers, and I found it on the sheet, and I was like, okay, this is the one discrete field where I can change that. And I changed that word, and suddenly all of the options for all of the classes disappeared. And I was like, old version history.
Wow.
So there's some magic going on I don't understand in that sheet.
Probably searching for specific fragments of specific words, and you don't know which words they're searching for. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So let's so am I hearing kind of make an effort to make yourselves known and put up some barriers, or am I hearing that you're going to let that go and with the idea that you're going to be doing diplomacy later?
We giving up a treasure or not?
We either give up a treasure or we go hostile. We defy them.
We're almost full on treasure at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we have treasure. It's just if we go and we do the diplomacy, it doesn't go well. We're just on the docket for feeding them treasures forever.
Sounds like you say no treasure set up boundaries.
I'm a big fan of these brambles now. They see all the beautiful flowers they have.
All right. Tolan, what is your thought?
I think I'm leaning toward boundaries too. Yeah. Let them know
Dawson?
that we're here, and that's good.
Then we could go talk to him.
Right.
Dawson, you agree?
That treasure could pay for a lot of expeditions. It could only pay for one season of satisfied horse people.
Then I'll agree. I think that, maybe they just didn't know they were trespassing.
Okay. Their relationship status will go to a -1. They will go to hostile. As you set up brambles and barriers to interfere with their ability to move through freely. The tier 4 faction.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, look at that.
Yeah, we definitely got to diplomatate well.
Okay. All right. So Grunheld, let's do once around to like investigate possibilities, run down lore, that kind of thing. What is it you want to know? What is it that might be something you want to be looking for or figuring out about or establishing as a detail here?
With the concept, am I doing this in the idea of looking into new places? Is that what I'm doing?
Let's say you were to say to me, how would we find out? I want to figure out how we'd find out like about this magical history, or I want to see
Gotcha.
if there's a magic sword down here, or I want to know if there's some place in the area that does this. Those are all kinds of questions that we can use to establish details.
Beautiful. I want to know what has gone on here recently with the politics.
Okay. So that feels like maybe a convince to kind of talk to some of the neighbor people to get a sense of who you need to like get the basics and to who you need to talk to, kind of thing.
Sounds good. Excellent. Yes.
Okay. So let's have you make a convince roll.
All right. So I got 2 in that. I got to bring up bad Tyler. I didn't have that up already. Roller up. All right. I've got 2 in it already. And God, I don't want to add more stress. I have so much stress. I think I'm just going to roll by 2.
Okay.
Come on. Those are 3s.
So the area around here is pretty chaotic. What you will like, and the reports that you get are confused and kind of contradictory about what's going on, but you will get a name. Like when you ask people, like several people say this, that there is a centaur by the name of Inoxen. We don't know exactly who he is, but he seems to have great like reputation around and has moved around in the different factions. Maybe he's a scholar or a tradesman or something.
I will spend a stress now. I'd like to push myself for old friends. Use my special ability. You can push yourself to create a shared history with a non-player character. Do a host fortune roll to determine the quality of your relationship. What you think?
I think you know him. Absolutely. But the 3 failure will definitely indicate to you that he is well on the other side of the region, that to get to him is going to require an expedition. Like you're going to have to take people and travel through some dangerous lands to get to him. But how do you know him? Oh, and do a host roll. Let's start with
let's do
that.
the host roll to see how that goes.
Yeah,
So
it might be he hates you.
it could very well be, and I go, oh, we don't want to talk to him.
Three
So
dice.
3d6. Rolling. I got
That's a six.
6, baby.
Yeah, no, he likes you. Yeah, he knows you. He knows of you. You've met in over time.
I think that how I know him is I think he is older as well. And
Okay.
his why I know him is that like they talk about him having moved to one of the factions here, he came to our homeland. He is a seeker of knowledge and a diplomat himself. And I managed to meet with him and had a very pleasant little conversation when he was, spending time learning about our home mountain.
What is his weirdness or foible? Maybe that kind of had me. Is it maybe the reason that he like travels and isn't, like a senior person amongst the centaur?
I don't want to go up against our line on homophobia, but I think that like he was someone who was never choosing to settle down. He's not someone who wants to build a family.
The centaurs. So what we're establishing a fact about the centaurs. The centaurs place great store in family, whether that's biological family or not. Like they believe that when you come of age, you need to become part of some kind of family unit, be responsible for raising people, and that unit may be several parents, or maybe a group and stuff. But like that's really really important to the centaurs, and he's stayed away from
part of that and had to build up a reputation and his own status away from that established type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, if someone would put that in the notes there, I'll find a picture for him. I think that's a great thing. And you kind of and I think that in asking and stuff, you kind of like where he is, but you're like, oh, I mean, he would be such a help, but it's a travel for us to get to there.
Okay.
Dawson, what would you like to do? What would you like to find out? What do you want to hunt, investigate, get on the table here?
I like the idea of supporting the keepers in being able to like center some of their records and get us a better idea of where we are in relation to the past. So could I like do an action with my guild to set Sherry up for a role?
Absolutely. Let's see how that works. Do we have an action? Yes, you can set up another founder's action. So what do you think is the role that you want to make to assist them? Or do you think that maybe this is a question I have. I'll have to look it up. Do you think that's a role thing to do a setup?
It is.
Okay.
In general.
Okay. It has been a while, and they don't mention a role and things. So I just want to make sure that it wasn't something. Didn't want to make you make a role if you didn't have to. So what do you think it is for you to ability for you to use and to lead your guild?
So I think this would be a study thing.
Okay.
Talks about studies, analyzing, inspecting, and processing information. So I think I'm just going around to the guild in general and like questioning them about the most memorable landmarks they've seen, sort of getting a survey of things that they would write down in their own personal notes to navigate off of. So that means that like someone else in the past may have written about it, sort of thing.
So like study then with your guild die?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2 dice. Go ahead and put a mark, an XP mark in that track.
And I'm using supply to bring in my guild.
Right.
Oh, why am I putting an XP in the track?
Because it feels to me like this is another, like they already, like they give you XP for doing like stress and things like that. It feels like if you're doing a setup action, you should also get an XP
Okay.
because you're
Cool.
risking something to do this.
Then yes. Okay. So that's 2 dice. 2. You do a thing. I got a 5.
Yeah. So I think that Dagriel, whatever they do in terms of this research, that you will increase the quality of their success, deepen that. But I do think that there's no like a big fallout, but I do think that the guild people are antsy at this. You're asking these things, you're kind of directing to help another founder. Maybe they thought that they were going to get a chance to like go off and do their thing, but now we're kind of in a holding pattern. So I think there's a little bit of tension there. I don't want to start a clock, but I want to telegraph future badness.
Nice.
Okay.
I think Sherry Dagriel gets an exhaustive stack of notes that I think Dawson has a very like exact and squared off and geometric sort of writing hand. But you see references to like, and on the 4th interview, they revealed a further detail about this one notch at the edge of the. Like, you see where he's brought these poor guild members in over and over again to ask them about the same things.
Awesome. Like an interrogation rather than
Yeah.
I just want to
conversation.
go back over your previous statement one more time.
Giant folder slaps down on the table.
The threat of waterboarding never far away. Okay, that sounds awesome.
So Dagger, let's come to you.
Yeah, I think what you see is Dagriel has all of the books that have, that make mention of this place, and it's like what's there and stuff, and has like brought them out and is going through it with these notes, looking for the thing that will sort of tie, like, what is that next threshold that they're to, because this like entryway that we have does not look like the stuff that are in the book for the entryway. So it's sort of confusing. Like, this isn't the original one that we have in our books. So, okay. So I guess I would roll study.
Well, what is it you're like? Are you looking for like an item? Are you looking for a resource? Like, what is it you want out of this study here?
I think that it is I'm looking for the resources, like essentially what is the infrastructure that we could easily make use of here, right? Or can I not say infrastructure and I have to say an item?
Yeah. So for this kind of thing, you would be setting up like a potential like dungeon crawl to go and find something is sort of what this is framed for.
Right. So I have to have like.
Well, let me do this. So let's have you roll.
Okay. All right.
So risky, great effect.
I have a 2d6 and I only have 5 stress left. So I think I'm gonna roll 2d6 straight. 2 3s. So that gives me a moderate effect with Patrick's help.
Well, it's a fail.
No? I thought it took me up 1. I'm sorry.
No. It's level of success, and then so we have a miss,
I misunderstood.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So
Um,
I think that you're hoping for maybe a a resource that you could make use of, something that could benefit, and it's a little frustrating because there is a mismatch in terms of the descriptions and the details that you're getting from Dawson's people and what you're seeing, but there is one like place of overlap that you can kind of run down. There is one of the tunnels that kind of drops down a dangerous shaft to a lower area. But if it is what you think it is, there is the tomb of one of the heroes of Carrick Minor. And quite possibly there might be treasure there. There might be regalia there, that kind of thing. Let me ask you this in terms of dwarven culture. What do you think? How do you think they regard those things? Do they regard them as sacrosanct? Do you think they regard them as practical and they can be just rated? Do you think they approach them that when time of need we go and we can take something from it? What do you think is the dwarven approach to that?
I think the dwarven approach is that your demonstration of wealth is that you don't require the wealth of these earlier generations, but which implies that if you do not have the wealth, that you can in fact use it. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
so it would
absolutely.
be like, this is a source of things. It's not a prideful thing for us, but it's that we're taking it in a time of need.
Yeah. So it'd be an expedition down into some dangerous territory, but potentially the rewards could be quite good.
Okay.
Does that seem like a fair result for that combination of action?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that the thing that we got was a +1 to the result level. So I just misunderstood.
It is to +1. Well, there's the effect level and there's the success level.
Yeah, so I misheard it. I
No,
thought
no.
success
The
level, or I
reward,
would have
yeah.
spent to stress. So yeah, that's just that thing. So I apologize, but it's a thing.
D6s
So-
hate you.
they really do. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Tolan, what do you want to do?
So I'm kind of curious about all those like very vague hints we've been hearing about, magical events in the past, and so I am going to ask the mountain about it.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
So Stone Speak,
Yep.
are you bringing anything to bear, like your guild or anything? Or
I don't know that my guild would have
Okay.
anything, but
or if you have something from your supply, or you could spend stress.
oh, you know what? Um, one of the two brews I could take at the beginning is mushroom ale, which gains me 1d plus or 1d to stone speak for the day. So
Okay.
that gives me 2.
Absolutely. So
I should.
what does it look like when you commune with the mountain with this brew in hand?
So I think I go to my like secret crafting spot, where I have been brewing this up because I think I think I don't speak to the mountain a lot, and I definitely don't do it with other people around because it's easy to be distracted, and also like I don't know, it seems like a personal thing, I guess. Yeah, my secret craft is moonshine. Yep. And so I go to this kind of like, little niche in the corner, somewhere, and I think I pour a little bit of this in like just sort of a hole in the floor, and then like scoop out a cup of it and drink it.
Okay,
So I'm like sharing it with the mountain.
perfect. I love that. Let's have you roll 2 dice.
Yeah, let's see here. I failed miserably.
So, I think you will stretch out your mind to reach in and find out what is going on. And I think your consciousness expands. The brew makes you in contact with the mountain. And I think you do see a hut like up on a cliff on the mountain, and there's smoke coming out of it. And your mind sees that, and you see cross-legged, breathing in the fumes of that, this hooded figure, beak. It's got a different colored plumage than any of the tengu that you've seen. They're all brightly colored. It's like a deep olive green, and it looks up at you and it says, "You would know? I'll show you." And there is this cascade of images of a war, of like the heavens being rent open, of these dark roads opening, but time passes, and like he's showing you elements of the fall of the gods, which happened before, of the destruction of them in the past, but then he shows you these figures striding across a battlefield and laying waste in their path. And he says, "The new gods have come, and they are not happy." I would like you to mark dazed. Now that's a condition. That's a wounded condition that you need to work to get healed. You can resist that if you want, or you can take that.
Let's see. It's -1 to all inside action rolls and resistance rolls. I use that a lot. I probably should resist that.
Okay. So you will resist that with insight. I am going to allow you, since you use the brew potion, to give yourself an extra die for this resistance roll.
Okay.
So just mark
5.
1 stress.
Cool. Okay.
And like the others, I think that you know that there is a Tengu sage on the mountain. But getting to him to get more detail may be a challenge.
Okay.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Let's take our second break here. Let's take 5. And then let's come back and bring the group together again to chat about expeditions and stuff. So let's bring the founders together again to talk about what they've learned, what might be goals, what might be a source for an exhibition. I keep saying, sorry. That's from the old Blades in the Dark game where Sherry was running a circus, but that's another story. So let's continue in the order we've been going. I think Tyler, you're still in the hot seat. So let's kind of, as we come back to the group discussing, what is it that you are saying, Grunheld?
I have an old friend who may give us some insight, both to the situation of this area and to the centaurs. A group of us could go and try to meet with him, but it will be a long journey. A more direct approach to diplome with the centaurs. I think we need to talk with them soon. But as I said, my friend Ixen, sounds like a drug. Inexen could provide us with some help there. I also believe that learning more of our environments is important. I propose we find my friend and perhaps if there is time left after our journey, look around a bit more in our environs. Others in the council?
I understand that there might be a Tengu sage up higher on the mountain. I look significantly at Tolan. They might know something about the overall situation of what happened here.
So did you talk to the Stingo Sage?
Oh, not I, no.
Dolan.
I talked to the mountain. I don't.
Oh. You just dove right in there?
Yeah. I wanted to know, what happened here, and
We've been
apparently
performing introductory
gods
rituals for
were at
months now.
war, and I just asked it.
Huh.
Sometimes this mountain seems to, I guess, prefer directness, I suppose, or not prefer it, because that was a not a great experience.
Oh.
But apparently there was a war involving gods, and there are new gods now, and they are hostile, I think.
The gods hate us.
Seems like it.
This mystic sounds promising, though. We should track them down if they've got some insider line into the mountain, even if it's just on the shell on the outside. That might give us some ideas for new approaches. Just talking, just going in and talking, no introduction. It's very strange.
I did have some mushroom brew, but that's pretty much what I did.
Oh.
But
Sangria looks a little jealous.
Well, the trip would be shorter to the top of the mountain, though probably quite dangerous.
That's true. I don't know that this sage would have much information. They might have information on the different factions and groups in this area. And your centaur friend might have information on what happened in a magical sense. I don't know.
I mean, we're not crazy people. We can't be running around having full diplomatic engagements with multiple people. And I mean, let's slow down. We do need to take care of things here at home as well.
We have already angered the centaurs. But I tend to agree. I would love to hear what this Tengu at the top of the mountain has to say.
Well, yes, we all very much want to hear from the Tengu of the Mountain, but let's not get off track about the expeditions to continue the expansion of our home realm here.
Right. So I told you about the shaft down to one of the heroes' graves, right?
Yes, it sounds
Dangerous.
interesting.
Glad you think of it that way.
It sounds like we need a choice of priority. I think we all agree. An expedition is in order very soon.
Yes, but up, down, or out?
I suggest we choose one of our diplomacy routes. See how it goes. If we feel like we can delve deeper, because it's nothing, as we dwarves know, there is nothing wrong with ever delving deeper. We can choose that once we return. Shall we go straight to centaurs, to my friend, or to the Tengu?
You seem to keep mentioning your friend like you really want to go see your friend.
I liked him. He's nice.
Might have some
Long
insight
ways
on.
away.
He's a long way away. Personally, I might say the Tengu, the nearest, would be my vote.
And most likely to not make any sense. I'm looking forward to it.
Tolan, you are the one who sort of knows the way. Do you agree with this choice of action?
Yeah, I think we need to talk to someone with more insight into, well, all of these situations than we have. So, yeah, absolutely.
And once we return, Dawson, we will perhaps look into delving a bit deeper.
Yes, perhaps when we return.
We'll say hopefully.
So I imagine we cut from there to the group gathering themselves for a journey up the mountain. Again, Cloud Island is high. You'll be traveling past the line of the clouds to the top, but it is the mountain, so it is something you know. And for some of you, those gifts may be of particular use here. But to start with any kind of travel like this, difficult as it is, there is a journey roll that is done for the traveling here. I think that this is mountainous. I think this is in your wheelhouse, so it's a risky maneuver, but I think the effects are great. Like you guys know mountains, you know stone. I think that it's fair to say that mountain has welcomed you for the moment, so it's worth doing that. So do we want to do this as individual journey rolls, or does someone want to lead? Sorry, want to lead the journey?
I've got one in journey.
Yeah, we're not
Okay,
great at
goody.
there. Sherry got one in
I've
it.
got one too, but D6s hate me, so
Who has more
The-
stress? Left.
I have more stress at the moment. I have more stress available. Currently, I have 3 I've ticked.
Here's the thing: the journey roll has the advantage of one of all the rolls being counted, and we get one result, but it does put the risk of stress on one person.
One person.
I have 6 stress checked, so
Now, otherwise,
have
you're saying
5.
we'd all each roll a journey roll, right?
Yep. And stress is less a concern than failures being consequences that you might have to resist.
Yeah, the horrible things that'll occur when we fail.
the chances are better with the teamwork roll. But
All right. Would you like for me to lead? I like that. Actually, it is better for either Patrick and I to lead, because we then have the people with the best scores out there to avoid giving stress. Now, they're not great scores, but they're better than Patrick.
a 1 instead of a 0.
And my next thing to pick up is whenever I lead, I never take more than 1 stress, but I did take it to start with.
Okay.
All right.
So Grunheld, why don't you make your journey roll?
Okay. So I'll be rolling 2 and taking the worst.
No. I can help, right? Or can you help on the journey roll?
Yeah, you can spend a stress.
I will spend a stress so that you're less likely to have a terrible fail. Because we're
Thank
going to
you.
be failing, but I don't want to be. So you can roll 1 die.
So 1
All
die.
right. I got a 3. I'm failing.
No.
3. So that's a 3. That's that. Now you don't mark stress for your fail on that.
For my own fail.
No. You are leading a group action, so make sure you mark an XP on the prowess
I
track.
get an XP. Yay.
Yep. Then let's come to Patrick.
I am going to mark my climbing gear because I do not have does not have faith in his own ability to do this just freehand. And I'm gonna mark guild members again to bring a couple of scouts along with me to make up for my lacks.
Okay.
So that'll at least give me 1 die.
And it'll drop your risk. Is that what the climbing gear does?
I think the climbing gear is just fictional justification.
Yeah, it improves your potential effect here. Hey, maybe you'd like another die? Would you like a die?
I mean, 2 dice would be better than 1 die.
It would be. So here's your devil's bargain. I'll give you another die, but I think that you really do demonstrate to those guild members that are climbing along that you are not good at this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think no matter what happens, Dawson will be convinced that he has shown them how wonderful he is at all of this.
Absolutely.
And how great his mountaineering skills are. Look at all of these pitons. He has so many pitons.
I'll just put that extra tick on the disharmony track for Emberstone.
Oh, and do you have some sort of clock going somewhere?
Oh yeah, it's on his NPC track.
Oh, that's weird.
He's at 4 out of 6 on mutiny now.
Mutiny, that's like a ship thing, isn't it? As long as I stay away from water,
I'm
should
sorry.
be fine.
His rebellion track. All right. So you get 2 dice then, Patrick.
Roll well.
If you add them together, that's an 8.
Yeah, but that's a success though.
It's a 4.
A success, which means that Tyler doesn't mark stress. Tolan,
Yeah.
I
so-
will spend a stress to add a die to you, as I
2d6
am
for Tolan.
helping you kind of move. Between the two of us, we're bustling up the mountain.
All right. In that case, it's 2.
I think this is a
Hopefully,
well-spent
It's a
stress.
5. Okay. And then Dagriel.
All right, this is gonna be awesome. I
Try for
swear
a
it.
6. We need. Still haven't got a 6.
A 2, the lowest
Mm.
roll of them all, because it's a D6 with me rolling it.
So Tyler, mark a stress.
Yep.
I think that you all are climbing up the mountain, and it takes longer. And I think that the sort of consequence here is that you do see like shadows pass over you, and you see these figures of these Tengu. They don't come to help. They just fly around. They don't come to interfere. But these look like young Tengu. And they're saying things like, "Oh, such worms as they're climbing up the mountain here. How would we be seen on such a thing? It's said. And then they start reciting some Tengu poetry, some koans and things, and they are irritating as hell. They are just absolutely the worst. Dawson, especially for you, because they're saying things that, okay, are they whispering secrets, mysteries, and things like that? But then, like they're laughing at the end of it, and they harry you as you head up. And you will finally find yourself at a plateau that is this area that you saw in your vision, Tolan. You can see that there are, like, this is clearly not a Tengu settlement, but there are some huts and things like that. But it is a thing that is a little bit difficult to move around in. Let me look here. We'll do an engagement roll here to see where you are when this is starting. I don't think you've proven yourself to the Tengu yet. I don't think we've established anything. We've got a 0 on that. But I also don't think you've earned skepticism or mistrust, right? I don't think it's a deal you're making. You're kind of doing a trading, so it's not like a benefit necessarily to them. But it doesn't reveal dwarven greed or ambition. Are you offering gifts or goods? What have you brought?
I definitely could pull out a shiny gift, I think.
So you're gonna mark a supply to have something in hand. Okay.
Yeah, let me mark by a small fine gift with so many years accumulated knickknacks. It is inevitable that an elder dwarf would have something small for another to appreciate.
So I think with the 6 I just rolled for your engagement roll with the 2 dice, you will find yourself, I mean, the wind is howling, you're above the clouds, like you're dwarves and you like the mountains, but I think maybe you're not as keen on being this high up, because it almost feels as you're moving along here like the wind could just lift you up. What, Greenheld? What What does this remind you of from your past?
I remember when I was young and still fighting shape and out there with the forces of our old home. And there had been an incursion to our mountains from let's say giants. They had been hurling boulders down, and so we had to go up to deal with them. And I can remember as we traipsed across those narrow cliff edges, the whistling sound of boulders so near, and thinking it would just take one and all of us would go tumbling.
It's a lot like that. Dawson, as you are doing this like last and along the lines of the cliffs and looking down at the clouds, what do you overhear your guild people saying about you? Positive or negative, I don't care.
I think I hear Rylela whispering to someone, one of the other like nameless guild members, about how this is why we have a rotation so that someone's always standing right in front of it. And then she like cuts off and blushes very brightly and gets very awkward and refuses to answer questions and goes to deal with something at the back of the line.
Nice. Dagriel, as you're climbing up here and you're looking down, like what's the thing from one of your books that this reminds you of? Like what, like a lore book, like what's the thing that is there?
I think when I looked down, it's the first time that I notice like what once like in the books was referred to as the sister mountain. And it's sort of like it's made from the same stone but shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen the pictures of it, and the peak still looks the same, but there is between the two mountains in that part where they're the sort of shoulders of the mountains hit, there's like a deep pit in there, like something came fell out from underneath, and there's just like this, you can't even see that far down in whatever this is that's between the two mountains. It is just like a big gaping hole.
Nice. And Tolan, what have you dreamt about this before?
I think I didn't like realize that what I was dreaming was in reference to a real thing at the time. But I think at some point I dreamed I was flying, that I had wings. And looking around now, I'm realizing that what I'm looking down at, this sister mountain and this big pit, was what I saw in my dream when I was flying over it.
Yeah, a real sense of deja vu. And there's a moment maybe when you like your foot goes and you like lean over a little bit more. There's that like moment of weirdness, like you're not going to fall, but even if you fell, your mind says it would be okay.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
kind of
my mind-
lean back, completely
It's cool,
calm.
I have wings.
Yeah. And I think then you will find yourself on the plateau. You see that hut that you saw before. You see that smoke that you saw before, but you also get this smell, just the most delicious smell coming out of this hut. Who are you leading the approach there, Tolan?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I. This is the hut. Uh, from my vision. Let's.
And you'll come
And I
up
think I
to, yeah,
approach it
come
very
up.
cautiously and like wait on the outside for a while. You know.
Yeah. Others kind of come behind you, and you'll hear, are you going to stand out there all day?
Uh, no, no. May we come in?
Yeah, yes, you may. Manners. Yes, you may. And you'll go inside, and the huts maybe a little bit bigger than like you remember from the vision. It's clearly spaced enough that people could come and sit in audience. There is a woven rug that the Tengu is seated on. There are some glow lamps that are up to illuminate. You'll see there is a beautiful thin sword hung behind the Tengu ceremonially, but you will note, I think, Gernheld, that it would be just a motion for the Tengu to draw that blade. But laid out, you'll see in front of the Tengu, there are these steaming platters of flatbreads, and a big pot that is boiling, and then some other like mixed up vegetables and things on things. Come in, sit down. There's probably only room for the four. If tell the others, I will make some food up for them. They're they the hut that is to the left is empty if they wish to go in there out of the wind.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome. Absolutely. It has that same sort of Tengu cadence and sound, that the bird sound, but all the Tengu you've met have been talking around things and repeating themselves and saying weird shit. And he's not. And he's like, so if you're hungry, these are flatbreads pressed down. The grain is an acquired taste, but there's a goat stew that's made up there and some dressings. I think you'll find it to your taste. Please help yourselves. Wrap it up. It can be a little messy, but please. And there may be a little more grain and seed in there than you're used to, but that's to my taste.
Dwarves have strong teeth. I'm sure we can grit through.
Do they? Do dwarves have strong teeth? Interesting. I did not know that.
We say we have everything strong. So
So, you're the one who reached out to me then.
I suppose so. I meant to ask the mountain what had happened here, and it pointed me to you.
Well, I've been with the mountain longer, so the mountain pointed you to me. So
That makes sense.
that is what has happened here. Please eat up. He kind of looks at you, Dawson, like have you gone to get one of these wraps? Are you hesitant or what?
I think Dozen is like on bite 32 of the first mouthful, still like crunching fully with every toothfall.
It's good, isn't it?
there's so many seeds.
I sorry. It is it helps with my digestion. I apologize. I know outsiders don't care for it as much, but I would think that the goat, the savoriness of that has been roasting for a
It's
full day, breaking that
very,
down.
very good. Yes, but we just so you've been talking with the mountain for a while, you say?
I have been talking to the mountain since my third eye opened and the confusions were washed away.
Oh, that sounds painful. Um, but
It wasn't.
so you know how to make it stop being difficult and respond right.
Oh no. You misapprehend. The mountain, uh, uh, we we have an understanding and we speak, and I know that each of you in time, if you wish it, will find your own relationship to the mountain and be able to, but the mountain is its own thing. Turns to you, Dagriel, and how do you care for it?
And she's like, she takes a bite and then you see she's eating it, but she opens it up to look at it. And you can see she's sort of pulling this out. She's like, her mouth is still full. She's like, what kind of seeds are these ones? And she points to the thing.
Do you know what sorghum is?
Yeah, they're sweet.
It's like that.
I had only
bigger.
read about it.
It's closer to wheat berries kind of thing.
These are delicious.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.
Do you grow them? Do they grow wild?
They do grow wild here. If you wish, I can give you some bags to take back to see if you can germinate them.
Yes, that would be good.
And you, Elder, I know that there's something in your pocket for me.
Oh. And I think there's been the kind of grinding noise of seeds between teeth as I have been really enjoying this meal. I'll take a swig off my skin. Thank you very much for the meal, and indeed, and I'll reach in and we're dwarves, and I picked up a knickknack.
Okay.
I thought that this might be something suitable. It is from our homeland. We hope to make wondrous things like it here, and I'll pull out, it's an egg shape done in silver. But as I set it down, I kind of twist it. And as I do, it begins to make a little ting, 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 little song. And the top of the egg opens and a chick rises up in gold.
Oh. Claps his feathered hands together. Oh, bravo. That very nice. Oh, that is a delight. That is a more than generous gift that you have given me there. It is very much appreciated. If any of you are thirsty, I have a milk, I have water, I have fermented milk. If any of you want something stronger,
You
have
have herds of the goats.
Yes,
herds of the goats.
Well, I don't do that, but there are those amongst the community that provide for me. But Tolan, is it?
Yes.
You came to seek me out. You have questions. What is it you wish to know?
What happened here?
That's a very big question. Perhaps you could narrow it down. I am a sage, but I'd like to be more specific.
We've heard we keep hearing about some magical incident. The magic changed. Why?
There was an awakening several years ago, a changing of the lines of old power here. This land's borders bigger places. We are luckily to be isolated by mountains and some other things from the bigger neighboring empires. But we are still caught in what is going on. There is a change. It has far from here is the sea, and the barriers that kept travelers from it have lifted. And to the west, the Empire of Iron has begun to look elsewhere. But what is important for what you wish to know is that there are new gods. And the ones that are here are spiteful and young and dangerous. And if you head in the direction of Empire of Iron, they have left things in their wake. I know that the centaurs, that their capital was razed by them, and this is where they have fled. This is the easternmost reach of their empire. Their western half is in flames. Other groups have shifted here as well, the elves and so on. The thing is that this region, this mountain, is a knot of power. These valleys, these lands around here are potent for that. They had not been, but now they are. And those fonts have woken up. My brethren seek to control the places where that has awoken and blooms out of the mountain itself, the excess. Those gods have not made their way here. It may be a long time before they do, but what destruction they cause may push others this way. And who knows what will happen if other gods are born.
So, is that why the centaurs are recruiting, looking for recruits? Are they going back to fight?
I think the centaurs they are Imperials. All they know is empire. They were not as powerful as the Empire of the Hours or the Empire of Iron or the Empire of Ghosts, but they had their own empire. And now that they are pushed back, they seek to recreate that.
All right.
You deal with them, you must understand that they perceive themselves as masters.
So they lost their own empire, so
A portion of their empire
one
still
here.
remains, but they have seen the writing on the forum wall.
Do you know what happened to the dwarves who were here before?
I'm not allowed to say.
All right.
So, I'm sure you have further questions for me, right? I'm sure that there's all kinds of things you'd like to ask me, but this is a difficult trip up here, I assume, for all of you.
I kind of look at Taz and yes, some of us in particular.
So, I have given you my hospitality.
Yes.
We are appreciative
have?
and have
Yes.
given gifts.
Does he want stories?
He kind of looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
I've invited you into my nest.
Will you come and visit us?
Ah, yes, that would be a delight. Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
That would be lovely.
I would very much. I have lived on a mountain, but I have never seen the inside. And I would very much like to.
That is where all the best mountain parts are.
I would disagree with you, but we can have that conversation again.
We are trying to reclaim the glory that was there, but would be happy to show you what we have made a home of.
Excellent. I look forward to this immensely.
If you
Is
come
it-
now and then you come again, you'll get to see more. So it will be like a sequence of journeys.
It will be a bit. I have tutorials that I need to finish for the young ones. I apologize for them. Young Tengu are headstrong and rude. It is in their nature, and I apologize for their harassment. Ignore them.
May we hope that we will have a friendship between our people.
Well, we will have a friendship between you and I. I cannot speak for my people. That is an entirely different matter. My name is Rengzu. I apologize for not saying that earlier.
Well, we look for friends. And let us hope that this first meeting with you will lead to greater friendship amongst our peoples.
I hope so. I look forward to seeing this place, and I hope forward to knowing of how you speak to the mountains and how you shape the stone. Those of you who work with the runes and the stone, I am curious. It is unlike the magics that I know.
Come down and we will show you how we speak to the mountain. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let us finish this meal. And before it gets too late, you should make your way back down. I will pack some up, and you should give some to your helpers who came along as well.
Yes,
You're
of
most
course.
generous.
And it suddenly has crossed my mind, like what going down this mountain in the dark would be like. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, you have a very good point. We should definitely.
And he will, he'll talk about like, oh, I have some books. Perhaps we could do an exchange, and we could, if you have scribes, we could copy over. Maybe I could borrow some of your books.
I have so many scribes.
We do, and that would be That would be an excellent trait. Yes.
And he would love to see how the runes work. He knows of the magic Dazen, but he's never seen it. And he would be very curious if you'd be willing to not show him how it works, but show it to him in action.
I don't know if you've heard, but we have this giant crystal in our entry hall. It talks all the time.
Oh no, I'm not. No, very nice, excellent. And he will chat with you for a while before he, and he's very pleasant. He's very straight talk. Before he does say, and at the time is getting late, you should all move along. And I will call upon you in the future.
We look forward to it. I stop and go, oh, and bow.
I do too.
And he'll walk you out and kind of look out onto out into the sky, and he will say, "It is a beautiful mountain.
It is.
I like to see it through others' eyes." And he will bid you all farewell. And you can head back down. You don't have to roll for the journey back down.
Okay.
And I think that's where we're going to stop for the evening. We'll take up next time with downtime following that, if that seems okay with everybody. Let's go through and do our check-in. So, Tyler, did you do your placebook specific XP trigger?
Is this where we hit those? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess we do those at the end of the year. Then I guess you're right.
It's the end of
yeah.
the year or it's the end of an expedition. I'm not sure.
It's in the year.
Is
Yep,
it? Let's look.
Yeah.
Quick reference sheet. Phases downtime. Work throughout the year. Each founder can do two. Oh, so yeah, per year you could do downtime actions. So, and I guess then after that is when you do your.
Mhm.
Let me check on what it says about advancement. If advancement happens per session or per expedition or per year. So we'll work that out next time. Okay.
Okay.
But are you okay with doing a quick stars and wishes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can we give me just like 2 minutes?
2-minute break, and then we'll do a quick stars and wishes. So what I'll do is we'll XP and those triggers and all of that will get read at the end of the year. If we have like a session break, if we end like in the midst, like we did today, everybody's going to get an XP that you can put in anything. So everybody gets 1 XP. And
We
then
call
of
that
course,
the frustration point.
yeah, frustration point. And then of course you always get an XP immediately when you protect an ally or you lead a group action, or as we've now established, if you spend an action setting up another founder's action. So those are ways to get XP. Tyler, can we start with you?
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Doing wishes, stars. Is that what we're doing?
Stars and wishes, yeah.
All right. This game continues to be super neat. I am really enjoying it. I think it is so much fun to see what people are interested in expanding as part of the settlement. That has been really cool. I enjoyed all of our little individual sets. I loved a chance to actually role play with Patrick. I liked seeing Patrick's difficulties with his rival. I loved the bees question. I thought that was that whole discussion was super cool. I like having the monkey squirrels, and I have a downtime that I think I'm going to Ethan said something when seeing my picture that has stuck with me of, I hope you have that little dragony thing on your shoulder.
Oh,
So I'm looking forward to a down action. I think the old-fashioned way before the crystals of dealing with monkey squirrels might be like having the cats of the underground, which would be, say, a cave drake. So I might be
Oh, yeah.
setting up a clock to bring the old-fashioned way of handling them.
I think that's a great idea.
But I loved seeing them come in. That was super cool. Love this Tengu. There's so much going on. It is so exciting. It's just a plethora of wonderful things. Wishes? I just want to keep exploring all of these little tidbits of it. I'm really kind of looking forward to getting ourselves into a rhythm where maybe we're kind of scooting through. There might be times where we say, okay, an expedition just may not be worth it this time. We are so low in stress and everything. We'll hit another year. Or hitting a stride where we go, okay, we're going to really dig at two things and know that we're going to have to rest a bit afterwards. But kind of getting the idea of our stride in how to handle the mechanics. And I think we're getting closer each. These two sessions feels like we're getting better system mastery.
Mm-hmm.
So my big wish is just learning more of it and getting a chance to dig into it. It's so cool.
Awesome. Patrick?
I enjoyed again, this session was a bit of like learning how to go about stuff, but it was also a lot of that in character and like dealing with different people's expectations about leadership and sort of different people's experience with leadership and like learning how to learn what we need to do, which was cool. I especially liked Tolan, Ethan, where like when we're looking at stuff to do in those actions, I had looked at Stone Speak. I was like, oh, there's more you can do there. Like you can talk directly with the mountain. Like I really need to like build a thing towards that. And just like the next action, you're like, I'm gonna talk to the mountain, which was awesome, and it led to this great opportunity for me to be like, oh, well, Dawson disapproves of that because you did it in totally the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so we get to talk about like the sort of like, oh, I've been doing these rituals and getting no response for all of this, like I've been doing these very stately things, and that's like totally wrong for our playful and obstinate mountain.
Yes.
And so this idea of like, no, you just do the thing, and then we follow the thing to the next thing, and then we do the thing some more. And that was I really liked figuring out those distinctions of characters there. I also love the idea of like a magic meadery. Like, let's definitely get some weird mountain bees and magic dwarf mead. What does all that shit do? I don't know, but it's fun.
Fed entirely on bramble flowers, so you know it's gonna be awesome.
Wishes, I am looking forward to doing an expedition here closer to home and finding some cool stuff around here. And then I don't know, I'm still sort of vague on the specifics of how we like advance and build and grow our place. I want to get more familiar with that and get some more
we'll definitely have a
buildings out on the
chance.
table.
And we'll have the downtime action next time. So everybody take a look at the building list and see if you have some things you want to lean into, so we know that ahead of time. That is a really good point. Sherry.
once again, great characters, lots of fun things. I still like that we're in the throes of defining what the space is and what's true. And it just makes it like everything's a little different than I thought. Every time someone talks, I picture things differently. I have to rewrite the place, in my head, but I'm super enjoying that. It's like getting all these little clues, and our complete ignorance of what's going on is astounding. Just that, wow, really working from like they're almost as dumb as the players are for as ill-informed as the players, and you don't see that often in a game. So yeah, we are clueless, but it is super fun, and it's fun to be how do you say, a scholar in that situation. So I'm really enjoying that. I really I enjoy how each of us brings a lot to every scene and also digs holes of our own. It's really good. We are building and destroying at the same time, so we can go on forever. And let's see here, my wishes, if only we didn't use d6s. That's it. I love the d6s so much. That is my only wish. Everything else, my needs are met.
You just wish it was d10s.
D10s are the best. That's all I can say. They love me.
That's why we're never using d10s.
I know.
Because they do love you.
Mhm.
Ethan.
I mean, yeah, stars from the other side to Patrick for being like bringing up that whole conversation. Like, wait, you didn't go through all of these rituals and take the cautious approach? It's like, no, why would I do that? But I really like that. That sort of helped me define my character's approach to things, because I hadn't really thought about it. I was just like, oh, okay, I want to talk to the mountain, so I'll come up with a way. But yeah, seeing that compared actually like gave me a stronger grasp of like, oh, okay, yeah, these two characters are polar opposites in how they approach things. And also stars to you, Lowell, for taking all of those failed information gathering roles and giving us more information, and then how it was bad. Like, oh, here's yeah, here's why you didn't want this information after all.
Any wishes?
I'm always interested in like at this, especially at this phase in the game with like, and when our characters are as confused as the players, it's even better. In like exploring the, finding out what's around and what's under us, and so like I'm all for more exploration, but like the cool thing is that can sort of happen during downtime actions or expeditions. So I have a feeling it'll happen one way or the other. So
Absolutely. I want to say I appreciate this session for a chance for us to model a way that we can like track down leads or establish directions in the RP that then give us a place to go to for downtime actions, or give us a place for actions. I want that to be a thing, so that we can build up stuff that way, in a way that maybe we can't do in Blades in the Dark or something. I want us to, we have an open world and we can work with that. I enjoyed this very much. Thank you all. I am going to stop the recording.